Ah, yeah, a beautiful night for a scope review on the Barricade. Time is 9:05 p.m. That is a Wegener Roadster with a Nutnfancy hand modification. That's right, I'm a watch programmer. I change watches all the time to make them more awesome. High value watch though. I paid 37 bucks for this Swiss quartz watch. Oh my goodness, what a deal. You can't see it, but it's a red band. Let me kind of come out of night mode so you can see what the lighting conditions look like for this Vortex Strike Eagle scope review. Thanks to TMP Patreon member, longtime TMPer Todd Strelka, for giving me the idea to do this review. He bought a Strike Eagle, said, hey, you ought to check it out, Nutn. Maybe do a review on it, and what do you know? I went out and spent some of that Patreon money on two scopes. I've got the 1:6x24 model. It's mounted on this AR. Let me go back to night mode so you can see what the heck is going on. There you go. So this is the 1:26 Strike Eagle at, what is this, about 18 ounces or so. 24 millimeter, 280 in Amazon when I bought it. Includes scope caps. It's fully illuminated. Daytime settings are actually pretty good. Some guys were complaining that the illumination, I don't know why you'd use it in daytime, but some guys were complaining that it wasn't good enough. I shot it earlier and actually in previous outings and it was fine, just to test it. And then what do you know, ladies and gentlemen of TMP, making a rare and seldom appearance in front of the camera here on Barricade, the Tavor. The Tavor making a comeback. Not the lightest bullpup in the world, but dang, do I love it. It's awesome. This is the original Tavor, battle proven. And this is wearing the 1:8x24 Strike Eagle, which strangely weighs a little bit less than this other version. A little bit lighter, not much. The eye relief on both of these, 3.5 inches. We're gonna see if that's critical tonight in these perfect conditions for scope reviewing. Well, almost perfect. I guess perfect would be snowing, I don't know, 15 degrees, but it would be really hard to do this Barricade review in those conditions. Voice of experience, everything frosts up. Yeah, I could do it and I probably will do it, but these conditions are perfect. The temperature, I don't know, is about 50 degrees. Awesome, awesome. So I have down here a target at, I'm gonna attempt to show you, it's about 150 yards. See that down there? Oh, you can see it. Yeah, buddy. Come on in here. So that is a mini IPSC plate. I don't know if it's going to focus. It probably will not in night shot. Way down yonder, here in the desert valley, where everybody seems to flee when the sun goes down. Motorcyclists, shooters, four-wheelers, razorists. Is that a word? Razorists? You know, guys that drive razors. When the sun goes down here in the desert, everybody books it. Not me. I love it. Although I want to get home by midnight. So I'm going to test these scopes, give you my viewpoint on them, and then maybe another gun review. Let's get going. We're going to start off shooting the 1:6. And before I do that, let me go down the specs on it in case you care. I talked about the eye relief, S20 coming into play once again in its lowest mode. I can't tell you how happy these lights make you. They're awesome. Oh, and by the way, illuminating that target down there is a 6-year-old S20. I had a 4.7s on it and it died. Maelstrom. Totally died on me, so I had to bring a S20 into play. 24 millimeter objective lens, half MOA adjustments. The 1:6 is 140 MOA capability for max range adjustment. And the 1 to 8 is less than that. It's 100 MOA of adjustment. 30 mil tubes, of course, nitrogen filled, all the stuff you'd come to expect. 16.5 ounces for the 1 to 8. That's pretty lightweight. And then 18 ounces for the 1 to 6. Again, a little bit heavier, don't know why. About 10 inches in overall length. The 1 to 6 is a little bit longer. Field of view on the 1 to 6, if you care, about 117 feet. And then 19.2 feet at 100 yards. 117 and 14.4 for the 1 to 8. Sorry to bore you, but some guys want to know about all that stuff. They use CR 2032 batteries. They have an extra battery storage compartment right here, y'all, which is cool. I like that. Is it on this side? Yeah, it's on this side, I believe. They don't have like high dials or 0 resettable dials. Let's take a look at that. That's a little bit of a letdown because I really like to zero out my dials. I'll talk about the philosophy of use on this here in just a second with an interesting comparison coming up. Here's your focus ring, your magnification ring. And they do make some quick sliders like 3-gun variety adjust or throw levers. I'm gonna get a couple for them. Those are mostly intended for competitors. It goes from stage to stage. But I think it's a good idea to have it on your gun if they don't get in the way. That's where your storage compartment is. One of these sides, it might be the other side. And this is your adjustment for the illumination. I do have the illumination on. And I don't know if you can see it with a night shot, but I have it marked in fluorescent orange and I have big old markings so I know for sure when that is off. Because with a 2032 battery, you're going to run out of juice if you leave it on. This is not a long running optic. It's not like an aim point or something like that or a hollow sun. I think the overall weight and size for these Strike Eagles is really good. I think the price level is really good. I posted, I don't know, about 6 months ago, an AR15 update on scopes, and I had 3 different pricing levels. I had the Weaver, I think 2 Leopolds or something like that. A Caspa, actually, the Weaver Caspa, middle range Weaver, and then a Leopold. I will tell you right out the gate that these Strike Eagles by Vortex are not as good as those Leopolds for sure. They're about on par with that Weaver, I think it was 800334, which is an excellent scope. I still run it on an AR. So what you're looking at is mid-range optics. They're not ultimate high quality, but remember the price. I mean, for this, again, 1 to 624, 280. 280. Yeah, time to shoot. We'll start off with the AR. This is a BCM with a battle comp on it. Let me move back so you can kind of see it better. See if that sucker's loaded. It is. And then I'm going to give you my idea on the reticles. These have slightly different reticles. They're AR BDC reticles is what they call them. And there have been some complaints, at least close range, about the busyness of the reticles. I can kind of see that. Dudes, you haven't lived until you come out into the desert in a place like this and do what I'm doing right here. It is so fun. I mean, there's no one around to jack with you. It's absolute freedom. It's just so excellent. I love taking you along with me on these Barricade reviews because you get a feel of what is still available to us, to free people in the United States of America out west. It's amazing. Wyoming, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Montana. Those are the states to live if you own guns. Subject to change with the damn Democrats. That's right, I said it. This reticle is actually pretty good. I've shot it a lot in the daytime, and I'll roll in a screenshot if I can find one. And it's the bullet drop compensation reticle. So this one has kind of a segmented circle with a dot in the middle and a graduated kind of a periscope from a submarine holdover bars on it. It is kind of busy. I'm not going to say it isn't, but I don't think it's obnoxious. And for what kind of shooting I do, I don't think it slows me down. We have red illumination in the Strike Eagles. It is rather dark out here, and I really like its lowest settings. There are not, however, any IR settings if that's what you're looking for. You're gonna have to spend some more money in that case. I'm talking about if you're running night vision, which nobody does. Get real, they don't. God, this is a sweet AR. All hits. So the power range I'm on right now in this Strike Eagle is, well, it's probably at about 5 power. Again, this is the 1:6 model. Really clear, actually. And this is why I wanted to wait until it was kind of dark. Well, not kind of, but totally dark. Because you can really tell how clear a scope is. I'm not seeing any eye box problems. Let me try again. So here I'm at maximum magnification. I come up. I don't really feel like the eye box is that critical. It's listed at a specific distance, 3.5 inches, but I think it's good. I like it. It's really good. So now I'm going to throw it down to a wider field of view in the 1:6 to 24 Strike Eagle. Kind of a big MOA dot on it. I don't know what it subtends to. I'd guess probably 2 to 3 MOA dot in the center. I really like this scope. I really do. Now, it has included scope caps on it, which you can expect to break off promptly. Voice of experience. I have another Strike Eagle, and these caps, which are made of hard plastic, snapped right off. Whatever, not a huge deal, because I don't really run scope caps on my scopes anymore. I just don't. They're such a hassle. I just let the glass get dirty and I'll clean it as necessary. Too many guns to worry about scope caps. I did earlier in TMP. Now I just don't give a crap. I don't. But at least you have some. At least you have some. And so if you take care of them, and by taking care of them, I mean, once you're done with them, close them up. They're going to get broken when they're open and something just moves them side to side. Then they will snap off. Now, I did notice on some of them, the scope caps are not very secure like this one. And I actually wrapped it in electrical tape to increase it dimensionally. These are second focal plane reticles on there, glass etched. I don't mind second focal plane at all. I prefer it. I'm not actually a huge fan of first focal plane. But then again, I'm not competing at long range or trying to figure out what distance it is at long range. Really nice knurling on this adjustment for the illumination. Look at this. Nice, big, tactile, works with gloves. And this is the Aero Precision mount, linked below. It's pretty much all I run on the ARs, or anything like an AR. MFT stock on this. So this is set up for CQB. I have it zeroed for 50 yards, not about 50 yards, but at 50 yards, which brings us to an interesting philosophy discussion about the optic. What it's for. I say it's a primary go-to optic for your AR. And I said that in a scope review. I think what you should really consider is your range being probably 0 to 50 yards. If you're being realistic, 0 to 50 yards as a police officer, as a civilian sheepdog, if you have an emergency defensive situation, 0 to 50 yards. As such, you should probably look at an optic like this. True 1 power. I've always said 1.5 is fine too, also 2 power. I'll stick with that. But these are true 1 power, so they have a huge field of view. You can shoot with both eyes open, no problem. They don't weigh that much, They're only 16, 17 ounces. That's not that bad for an illuminated, magnified optic. And they work. They just work. Now, the interesting comparison I was going to show you is coming at you right now, coming up for review sometime, somewhere. And that is, where did it go? Where did it go? Uh-oh. Here it is right here. The FNPS 90. Wearing a Vortex, what is this, a Spitfire? This is the optic I said that should be taken off and basically detonated with dynamite. That's how bad it is. Now, it's a true 1-power optic, right? It is illuminated. And I just don't like it. It gives kind of a fisheye perspective. And the reason I'm rolling this on camera, one, it's cool because the PS90 is just cool. And two, it gives you a good, I don't know, option that a lot of guys use. They'll go with a reflex sight, maybe a 1-power scope like this, and it just limits your capabilities. So here I have a 150-yard target. It's 1 power. It's a green circle. Oh, I did hit it, but I'm laughing because I shot 1 round and the reticle died. Now I have no reticle. I smack it and it comes back on. Oh my gosh. And the reticle's dead again. It might be something simple like a battery contact, but still, come on. Well, I'll say this about this Spitfire, and I hope I'm getting the name right. Let me double check. I do like it better at night, at least when the reticle's working. Yeah, it's the Spitfire by Vortex. It works better at night than it did in the daytime. In the daytime, it just seemed like it had a big fisheye perspective. And it's supposedly I think a 1-power optic. And the reticle's dead again. I don't know if you can see through here. You got nothing. All right, that aside, my point in showing you this is the difficulty you have with that is either you have very low magnification, maybe 2 power, maybe 1 power, and you cannot identify your target. Same stuff I've said out in the desert forever. You want some magnification. So as we roll the Tavor on camera for its turn, it's wearing the Strike Eagle 1-8 by 24. It's true 1 power, but it can go all the way up to 8 power. So you can identify your target. You have illumination. All those things are super critical. Super critical. Can't remember if this sucker is loaded or not. It was standard. All right, Tavor, show us what you're made of. Dang, I love Tavors. They are so cool. Just really a smooth shooting gun. Okay, so this is the 1-8. I have it on 8 power. Let's check how critical that eye relief is. It is more critical than the 6 power. It is. So if I move aft or forward, it will ghost out a little bit. I wouldn't say it's hypercritical, and it is very usable still. Tavor making a comeback in TMP. The discontinued Tavor. Okay, so this reticle is pretty similar to that other one. It has segmented circles. Again, I'll show you a screenshot, and then it has a vertical stadia line, and the stadia lines correspond, I think, to 300, 400, 500 yards with a standard 5.56 load, I understand. Really a great tactical carbine scope from what I can tell. Now, I haven't tested this scope for years. Who knows what's in the future, but consider the price. This one is more expensive, I think like $380 for this 1:8 to 24, about a third of what you'd pay for a Leopold. Winchester. Woo! Man, good times in the desert. The spooky, spooky desert. Now I'm going to go to, let's go to a lower magnification, wider field of view, less critical eye box. Same controls on the 1:8, same overall presentation, amazingly a little bit lighter. Still the scope caps are too loose. You'll have to electrical tape underneath them. Vortex, you should probably fix that. Pretty funny though, how I don't like their Spitfire, but I love these scopes. Pretty standard actually. I mean, not every manufacturer gets everything right. Hey Nutnfancy, I have a Spitfire and I love it. Roger that. Let's change his perspective a little bit. Right about here. I don't know if that's illuminating it though. Ah, you can see that now, can't you now? Oh yeah. See if you can see that target out there, can you? Probably not. In that case, we'll show the gun more. There we go. Dial up that magnification just a little bit, which by the way, it slides readily. It's not too stiff. A lot of scopes are. They're really stiff in their adjustment of the magnification. Little rapid fire. Woo! There you go, boys and girls of TMP. Barricade scope review. From what I know about it, the Strike Eagle series are excellent scopes. And it comes in other variations too. It's the 1:6, the 1:8, and then they have a high-powered version. It's going to be much heavier. Whoops, too bright. It's the 4-24 to 50 at 26 ounces, and then they have a 3-8 by 44 at 24 ounces. I do understand that Vortex has great service, so if you have any problems with your scope, you can turn it in. By the way, this has 11 Lumination settings, and I love the second focal plane on it. Great choice. Highly recommended. Order them before they go bye-bye. You just never know when this stuff will get discontinued. And if you're wondering which is my favorite version for you guys and what I think most of you guys will be doing, including my valued law enforcement officers that run patrols, I might surprise you in this, but I would say go with the 1:6 version. Yeah, go to the 1:6 version. So even though it's slightly heavier, here's the 1:6 version. It looks about the same, right? Slightly heavier, but it's so affordable. It's $280, and it's going to give you plenty of illumination for that realistic engagement distance that I was talking about. There you go. Signing off from the desert. Thanks so much for being a Patreon member. Thanks for keeping TMP alive and well. Lieutenant Colonel Nutnfancy signing off from the Barricade. Over and out.